definitely slows down getting started. Yeah, if we have a big group, we're really in trouble. What do you think? Go ahead and start the introduction. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for an all-staff meeting here this morning. We try and do this periodically just to keep everybody updated on some things that are happening. There's a few folks still getting signed in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a variety of information for you today. There's some information-related ways to access your paycheck before paychecks come out, which is always interesting. There's information on loans that are available, emergency loans that are available. We're going to talk about the Garden Spot Communities app and how you can use that and make use of that, and then provide an update on the strategic plan. So a lot to get through. Our goal is to get that all knocked out in 45 minutes or less. And so I'm going to turn it over to Brian to get started.
Okay, thanks, Steve. So real quick, some of the benefits. You've already picked up the handouts, so those are some of the things we are going to look at. Let me turn this on here first. Okay. So in the past, we've been asked in our office, is there any way of getting a pay advance? So I have bills coming up unexpectedly. How can I get some money out? And in the past, we said, sorry, you're not able to do that. Hang in there. Payday is coming next week. So we now have a different alternative here, and that's if you look at your handout that you may or may not have picked up, they were at the door. PayActive is a service, and I know that's very hard to see. So what you can do here is you can sign up and gain access through an app or directly through their site, and that will give you access to immediate same-day bank transfers. So you can say, okay, I want $50. They know through your Dayforce hours that they know how many hours that you've worked, so it'll allow you to get some pay in advance. Bank transfer hours, you can also put some money on a debit card that you can get ahead of time, or you can even access cash at a Walmart through putting in a 4-digit PIN. There is a $5 fee for that, a very minimal fee, so that's a good option there for that. And then how it gets paid back is at your next upcoming pay stub, you'll see that $50 that you got will just be taken right off as a payroll deduction. So a nice, convenient option for that. We are just finalizing a connection here between Dayforce and PayActive, so it's not quite ready yet, but it should be available in the next couple weeks. Another question we sometimes ask from people who are saying, my car is falling apart, I need a loan, I know I have money in my 401k, can I get my money out? Is there a loan available? There's not, unfortunately, a 401k loans available. The only thing our plan allows for is a hardship withdrawal. And even if your car looks like that, the IRS does not consider that a hardship. So the option that we have done instead is signed up for the Everence Small Dollar Loan Program. And that allows you to borrow up to $1,000 at a time. And then the same type thing, it gets paid back through payroll deduction. So you have 90 days to a year to pay that back. Again, a minimum of $250 loan, a maximum of $1,000 loan. This is in comparison to, you may have heard of a payday lender loan. Those types of loans can have up to 300% interest, so they are very, very expensive. This is much cheaper, and so then once you pay back that, they will also try and encourage you to continue making that deduction into an account to build up the savings. You don't have to do that, but that's one thing they're trying to prepare you to do to be prepared in the future. If you have any interest in that, you can stop by Human Resources and we'll help you fill out an application for that. Next item, We Care Connect. This is something that we just started this month for new employees. We have always done exit interviews in the past, and that's a great way to access information about why people are leaving, some things we can do in the future. But the problem with that is, obviously, by that point, the person has already left. So how can we get survey information to address issues throughout the year? So the people who are hired in September, as I mentioned, are enrolled in this program. 2 weeks from hire, they've received the first survey. So it's a short 10 to 12 question survey that goes directly to their email, which is one of the reasons we're verifying emails back on that sign-up sheet. And then 45 days, they'll get a similar but slightly different survey that comes out, 75 days, and then a 6-month from hire survey that comes out. What it's designed to do is trigger any answers that we need to act upon. So it's a great way to kind of get feedback and act accordingly. The reason why we're sharing this with you now is we are starting this for everybody in the new year. So all employees throughout the year, every 6 months, will have the opportunity to fill out one of these surveys. Okay. Then just want to give you a quick plug about the Right Now Media at Work. I know many of you are aware of this now. If you're not familiar with Right Now Media at Work, it's a 20,000 video library. It's Christian-based topics like leadership, parenting, financing. There's a whole range of kids' videos. My kids are now all teenagers, but when they were younger, they would spend hours and hours and hours and hours watching the VeggieTale videos. All the VeggieTale videos are in there. It's all accessible for free. You will receive emails from time to time about signing up for the program. Across the bottom, you'll see the different opportunities for how you can view these videos, whether it be on your phone, whether it be directly on your computer, or now they're pushing it out to some of the TV apps. The bottom corner you'll see is Amazon's Fire TV app. That's their newest app, and it's working very well with that. They've given us, or will be sending us, a couple of the Fire TV stick. Right Now Media is sending that to us as a giveaway for the people who are on the plan. So if you haven't signed up, sign up for Right Now, and you're eligible for that. Okay. Now, changing gears a little bit here, the Garden Spot Community app, and Derek will be coming up momentarily here. One of the challenges that any organization has is how is the best way to communicate with employees. We do the traditional things. We send out emails. We post things by the time clock. We rely on managers to pass that information out to their employees. But our primary, what we're wanting to switch to here, is the Garden Spot Community app. And Derek, who has designed this app, which we think is great, we've shared with Derek, can we add this to the app, or can we do that to the app? Can we change it? And so far, we haven't been able to stump you. You've been able to update that. So, okay.
All right. So I'm going to give you just a real brief demonstration of the app here. So to start out here, we have the feed. The feed is where any messages or notifications that Garden Spot sends out to you will appear. These can go to everybody, specific groups of people, or an individual person. It can be text. If we scroll down, you can see it can also include some images. Here's one from the summer picnic. And if you go into the message by tapping on it, the text is a little small. You can tap on the image again. You're able to zoom in so that you can read the text a little better. Also, when you're in the message like this, another option, they do have the option to send out short surveys. A button would appear at the bottom that would say Take Survey, and it would take you into the survey of a few questions or whatever they have for you. Also with this, if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you see there's a little hamburger-style menu there. I'll just start from the top. We have a resident directory. You can search by the start of their last name. So you want to find someone whose last name starts with H. You can tap on the letter H. And here's a list of people whose last name starts with an H. You're looking for Jackie Hardy. We tap on her name. There you get her picture, so you'll know who you're looking for. You're going to get any phone numbers and email addresses that they have listed in the directory. And say you need to give her a call, all you have to do, just tap on her phone number, and it'll pop up and ask you, do you want to call this number? If you press call, it'll give her number a call. The same goes with the email. If you tap on the email address, it'll open in the default email app in your phone and put that email address in there for you automatically, so you could send her an email. Same idea with the employee directory. Say you need to get a hold of your manager, and this is also in the resident directory as well. You notice up at the top, there's the little magnifying glass. You can tap on that, type in the name of who you're looking for, and there's Andrew. Tap in there, and there it brings up a picture of Andrew, the department, his title, as well as any phone numbers and email addresses. Same thing, you need to give him a call or send him an email. You just tap on the phone number or the email address, and you'll be able to give them a call or send them an email right from your phone. Next down on the list, we have Dayforce. This is simply a link to Dayforce in the App Store, just to kind of give you a hand to download it or get to it if you're unsure of which one it should be. We're also going to be adding something similar for Right Now Media to help you find that as well. Right below that, we have a document repository. We plan on adding a lot more to this, but just for example, you want to see what the dining menus are for the day. You can select dining menus, and you're curious about what the harvest table has. You can select the harvest table, and it will load their menu, which you can zoom in and out on to see what they're having for dinner or lunch or whatever you're here for. Next below that, we have our internal job postings. This shows all the different job postings for Garden Spot and Maple Farm. You can simply select what you're interested in. You're interested in looking in dining services. You don't care which location. Press the search button. And you can see there's a list of all the different options that are currently available. And if you click and go into it, it takes you through the steps of applying and all of that stuff. Next on the list, we have our GSV Dining. This is where you would actually be able to order food from your phone. If you have a Next Step account, you can log in. If you don't have one, you can create an account. This would allow you to do any sort of current or future order. If you wanted to put in an order in the morning for something for your lunch, you would be able to do that through here as well. So the question is, where can I get this app? Andrew, if you can switch back for me back there. The app is available in the Google Play Store as well as the Apple App Store. For those of you who don't have a smartphone, it's also available online as well. If you don't have a computer at your house, we'll make sure that this goes on all of our computers here, kind of like Relias, that you'll be able to log on and use them. Also, if you don't have an email, you notice this is another reason we're collecting your email addresses. We'll be sending you your user information for this app individually. It does require a sign-on. But if you don't have an email, we'll work with you individually to get you set up for it. And finally, privacy concerns. Are we going to monitor anything that you're doing on your phone? No. Part of the reason that we created it in-house here is because we want to, when someone else creates an app, you're not always sure what are they doing. If you're downloading, say, a calculator app on your phone and it's popping up asking for permission to view your contacts or something like that, it should make you a little nervous. There isn't really any of that here. All we're asking for is to send push notifications to your phone so you know when a new message comes up. Other than that, we're not monitoring anything other than if the app would crash, we'd get a crash report. That's pretty much it. You definitely do want to make sure, though, when you are doing things on your smartphones and online, that you keep things like this in mind. Like I said, if an app is asking for some strange permissions, like, it's a calculator app, but it wants to access your contacts or it wants to access your phone, why is it doing that? And does it really need access to that? And that just goes through with a brief topic we're going to touch on here of online safety. It's just always being aware that what you're doing online is being tracked. There really isn't anything you can do online without somebody knowing about it or somebody seeing it, whether it's your internet service provider or the provider of whatever, application you're currently using. And when you are using social media, the big thing to remember is when I'm talking to you, if I'm joking, you know it. But when you're typing something out online, you can't always tell that. So just make sure when you're typing things out or you're saying something or posting something on some sort of social media that it's very obvious what the context is. Are you joking? It's very easy for somebody to take something the wrong way if you're not extremely careful about that. The other thing to think about is privacy. Who can see what you're doing? You think it's private, but next thing you know, you send something to someone and it's everywhere. So you really want to think about what you're saying and who can see what you're doing. And then the final thing to remember about anything internet related, whether it's email, social media, your internet history, none of it's actually deleted, even though you've deleted it. A good example I have is I have an old Facebook account from when I was in college. Back in the day, you had to have a .edu email address to have a Facebook account. I signed up for one, and after I graduated, I ended up deleting the account. Well, years down the road, my wife has an account and I have a new account, but even though I closed that account, that old account still pops up every year on my birthday. And you can click on it and you can see what's in there. Again, I'm fortunate. I don't have anything I regret in there. But it's still there. Even though I deleted the account, it's not gone. If you search for it, you can't find it. But again, it pops up every year on my birthday. So just something to remember, when you're posting things, it's never gone.
Thank you, Derek. And just one quick illustration. Derek mentioned that there's times when when he looked and thankfully there's been nothing on there that he's been embarrassed of. I had an attorney tell me one time, does it pass the red face test? So that's what this illustration is for. The red face test is because our emails are always saved, you can't delete them, they are also able to be brought into a lawsuit. So imagine yourself sitting in front of a judge, in front of the jury, and them all seeing the email that you sent, the tone that you're maybe we're not able to communicate correctly. Can you look at that without being embarrassed and have the red face? So that was helpful for me to think through. And if I can't do it without having the red face, then don't send it. So, okay, thank you. Turn it over to Steve.
Thank you. Just want to kind of toss out a reminder. We have folks all across the campus, in and out of people's homes and connecting with residents in different ways. Every so often we hear about a situation that occurred and a staff person, one of our team members, was connected with the resident and things didn't quite seem right or something was a little bit off or somebody was in the building that didn't seem like they should be there. And then maybe a couple days later, they'll say, well, I didn't know if I should mention this, but so-and-so didn't seem quite themselves, or might have had an issue. And I just wanted to remind everybody that if you see something that seems out of the ordinary, if you hear something or somebody who shouldn't be where they are, just kind of make folks aware of it. If somebody's not quite themselves and seems a little bit off, let social work know. If somebody's in the building that probably shouldn't be in the building, let security know. Just kind of be aware of that. In today's world, it's just a good safety protocol for all of us to be aware of those things, but it also provides better resource and support for our residents as well. So just a quick reminder that if you see something that seems out of the ordinary, don't let it pass by and think, that's weird, but go ahead and say something about that. As I mentioned earlier, we want to provide a quick update on our strategic plan. A few years ago, we adopted a strategic plan that has these 5 initiatives, and we've been working on those. We try and get back at least once a year and give an update on where we're at with these 5 key things that we're focused on as an organization. So the first one just talks about socioeconomic diversity, which is a big word that basically means we want to be able to provide services to people regardless of their income level. And how can we do that? How can we broaden the reach of Garden Spot to serve a greater number of people? Well, one of those efforts has been focused on the Cooperative Living House. You may recall us talking about cooperative living in the past, and that's a program that we designed to serve people who couldn't afford to come to Garden Spot Village, but still need to have safe, secure housing and services in retirement. And so it's a program that we started. It's the first of its kind in the country that provides services and housing to lower income older adults, but doesn't use any government funding to do that, a completely private initiative. A year ago when we held this meeting, we showed that picture and said that's kind of where cooperative living is at. It's still under construction, and it's a great dream. But in the time since then, as you know, if you travel up and down Rank Road, cooperative living has been built. If you got a chance to go over for the open house, you got to see that it's just a beautiful home with a great living room, dining, kitchen area, nice bedrooms with lots of natural light, big windows, den on the left there, and upstairs kind of bonus room, extra living room. Again, it's just a really, really beautiful home. But even more important than the structure itself, it has turned out to be a true home. One of the ladies who lives there referred to it recently as a haven for her, a place where she could seek refuge, where she could find relationships and connection and true community. And so for us, that's what makes the whole effort worthwhile, to be able to serve a group of people that we wouldn't have been able to serve otherwise, who couldn't afford to live at Garden Spot Village, but are able to move into cooperative living. Regardless of their income, they're on a sliding scale fee, so they pay a monthly rent that's based on how much income they have. So it doesn't do undue damage to anybody's budget. So we're just thrilled about that. It's starting to get some recognition nationally, and we'll share more about that in the next month or so. Some of the awards that cooperative living is starting to receive. The second initiative we have is based around building a sustainable business model, and essentially this idea that as an organization we want to be in existence long into the future. So 10, 20, 50, even 100 years down the road, we want Garden Spot to still be serving people in our community. And so in order to accomplish that, we have to prepare for that. We have to build a good, solid foundation. And one of the ways that we feel is important to build that foundation is to just continue to grow a little bit in terms of size. We're already a large organization in terms of retirement communities, but we feel that with all of the changes in the world around us and all of the economic changes, that the larger that we can get, the more secure we will be and be able to withstand some of those storms that come our way. And so Sycamore Springs has been one of those efforts. As you know, we have built out and finished over the past year the Sycamore Springs community, which, again, it's just a great opportunity for people to live in community, in small neighborhoods. We talk about front porch living. We have great front porches that face out onto the green space. And so you can see your neighbors' front porches, and you can connect with people and just have great relationships there. And it's working really well. People are getting together. They're having front porch parties. They're having dinners in each other's homes. They're going to the community houses and having potluck suppers and book club and just all kinds of things that they're sharing life together. And so Sycamore Springs has just been a wonderful addition to the housing that's available on our campus. And so we're going to be expanding that in the next year. This little triangle down here is the existing Sycamore Springs homes. Kinzer Avenue runs right up and down kind of where this black line is, and Linden Drive comes across from the existing campus across Kinzer and right now to a cul-de-sac. That cul-de-sac will become a traffic circle, and then Linden Drive will continue on across to Bremer Avenue. And on the other side of the tree line, we'll be adding an additional 50 homes in that same style. They'll still be that nice cottage sort of feel. They'll all open up onto these green spaces, and they'll all have their own commons neighborhood or commons house for their neighborhood. So there'll be 4 different clusters of homes, or 4 different neighborhoods here in that expansion of Sycamore Springs. We're currently going through what we hope are the final stages of getting all of the municipal approvals for that. And so we anticipate, if things go well, we'll be able to start construction and moving some dirt over there early in the new year. So that's coming up, and we're excited about that. We're also expanding our memory support programming. You might have recalled from the past that we talked about the fact that Laurel View is bursting at the seams. And, you know, for better or for worse, we have more people who need memory support than what we have capacity in Laurel View. And so we've been working on developing a new plan for a new building. Last year when we were here, we had a kind of a general concept, and over the past year we've worked with the Laurel View team and the architects on refining that, and they have it down now. The architects have it down into construction drawings and things like that that are necessary. And again, we're working through the approval process. That building is also going to be located on the other side of Kinzer Avenue. And this is Kinzer running up across here. This is Craybill Avenue, just to the south of the Center for Health. The Center for Health sits right up in this area. And so Craybill kind of runs straight across. That road is going to also continue across the street. And then the new building will sit right down in this lower corner. So there's that really beautiful farmhouse sits right up in here, if you're familiar with that, on Kinzer Avenue. And then the new, we're calling it Meadowview, memory support will be located right down in that area. So Laurel View will continue to exist. It'll get repurposed into something a little bit different. We're not sure exactly what that's going to look like, whether that's more personal care or assisted living or skilled nursing at this point. There's a lot of things in flux right now with the state and their payment models and what they're pushing out. And so we're kind of sitting tight on what the next step is for Laurel View. But all of the memory support programming will move across the street into this new Meadowview building. Again, we're going through all of the approval stages, and we hope to have construction starting on that early in the new year. And then the other area that we've been focused on is just thinking about other sources of revenue that can help support our mission. One of the things we know is that a lot of our residents move into Garden Spot with more stuff than they can fit into their home. And we know that there's people out in the larger community that have more stuff than they can fit in their home. And so self-storage is an opportunity. Interestingly enough, a couple of years ago, we acquired a parcel of land on the east side of Rank Road. This is where the Cooperative Living House is. And so on the back portion of that parcel of land is zoned industrial. So we've been talking about what can a retirement community do with an industrially zoned parcel of land? Well, self-storage fits in real nicely. And so in the back parcel of that piece of land, we're looking to develop some self-storage buildings there. That'll be available to our residents, to our staff, and to the larger community as well. And then you'll also notice that while we're going through this approval process for this project, we're adding in additional cooperative living houses as well. So it's a little bit faint on this drawing, but there's a total of 5 cooperative living houses that we're going to go ahead and get the approvals for. At the same